guest is award-winning versatile music producer Bob Rock. He makes career-defining records. Music is in his soul, and it keeps him on a roll.
Wow.
Do you think I have any chance of writing lyrics, or is
There's
that just
always a possibility.
too predictable?
No, it can find a place. You can find a place for that.
Okay.
With the right music behind
Don't burst out into gales of laughter. Back to Bublé for a moment, because this last album you worked on with him, Reese Witherspoon.
Yeah, wow.
Duet.
That was amazing. It was, we're all a bit nervous, I was, in meeting her and just wondering how she was going to do it. But she came in and just was at home. She practiced her part and she just nailed it. It was amazing. It was an amazing day. Michael and I just laughed the whole time because it was so great.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Other amazing days that come to mind recently. Every day's amazing, but highlights for you, who works with the Metallicas and the Aerosmiths and the Steven Tylers and, is often to see Van Morrison.
Well, actually, I think that was the latest thing that I've done, which is I did a duet with Michael and Van, recording in London, I guess, about a month ago. That was amazing. I recorded the track with Michael in Manchester Arena. Drove all night, went to London, recorded Van, met Van, spent the day with him. That was a great day. Van Morrison, legendary.
Yeah, no kidding. How do you decide who you collaborate with and who you don't touch? What's the litmus test for Bob Rock?
Well, my manager, Bruce Allen, the infamous Bruce Allen, we just kind of, a lot of things, your work kind of brings you more work. People, when you look for a producer, usually you're looking for the sound that they have and what they've done, their history. So people come to us, and Bruce and I talk about the artist, and he's managed me since the 80s. We've been together for a very long time. So we have a great friendship, and we talk about what I do.
And when Bruce rants?
When he
and
rants?
Drinks a lot of Coca-Cola, what do you do?
I just sit back and listen
out.
to him. Yeah, but I think that's a great energy. That's what I get from Bruce, a great energy. But my friendship with Bruce is as a manager and as a friend, we have a different kind of relationship. So he's not always ranting.
Okay, but as a music producer, working with a female, working with a male, how different putting Anne Murray in a studio or putting a Bryan Adams in a studio? What's different? Anything?
Well, it's not so much the genre, so to speak. It's more about the people, and every person is different. Just like every band, from Metallica to Aerosmith to Michael, everybody, they're all different personalities, and they all have their pluses, their minuses, and it's kind of like a minefield that you got to walk through, and you got to be careful, and you have to steer each one differently. And it's really about getting the best out of them. That's what my job is as a producer, is you learn the more you do it. It's really about making them comfortable, because studios can be very sterile and very scary environments. So you want to make them comfortable so they can relax and get the best performance.
How are you different than a movie director, a film director?
Well,
an Oliver Stone.
An Oliver Stone, well, I don't really know because I don't direct films. I can only imagine. I think it's the same thing. It's really trying to get the best out of the situation. That's what I do. I used to think it was about just the sound, but the more I've done it, it's more about everything, all-encompassing, just shoring up whatever weaknesses and bringing out the strengths.
And how did you learn to do what you do? Who taught you?
I started at Little Mountain in 1976 as an assistant engineer. I got that job. Roger Monk, a local guy here, a great engineer, who I won the Grammy with. He got a Grammy too. He started me as an assistant. And being at Little Mountain at that time in Vancouver, it was a very great time in Vancouver musically. We were talking about Doug Edwards before, a friend of yours.
Who wrote Wildflower.
Yes, but the Doug I knew, I saw him, a lot of them during the day when I used to do
Chilliwack.
Bill Henderson, etc., right? Yeah, all those guys did sessions during the day to make a living. So I saw those guys, and that's how I learned how to make records, really, was starting with jingles in Vancouver.
You know, so many session musicians, and some of them are better guitar players, better bass guitar, better drummers than a Ringo Starr. Some
But-
are. So who gets to the top? Have you figured that
Well-
out? Who breaks through? Who doesn't? Why?
It's an interesting thing that you just said about, like, there may be better guitar players, etc. That's not what records are about, to me. Records are about that part of it, but it's also the lyric, it's the feel, it's the sound, it's all sorts of components. Not every great musician makes great records, so to speak. It's artists make records. It's an art form, and there's a mystery to it. There's and that combination, that right combination of the people and the song, etc. There's a magic that happens. So it's something that you just can't figure out. If there was a one way to make a record, we'd all be doing it, and that's ever changing.
If I'm listening to an Aerosmith recording
Yeah.
in my car, am I assured that the original bass player for Aerosmith is the guy playing, or do they sometimes substitute? Like, will they call a session musician and say, come on in here, we
Well-
need a bass guitar because the guy's sick today, or...
Well, that depends on every artist. In Aerosmith's case, a band like Aerosmith and Metallica, the guys in that band make that sound together. That's what's a great thing about bands. Much like the Beatles and the Stones, it's like, one could say that maybe what Jagger did by himself was never as good as what he does with the Stones. It's got a lot to do with that chemistry. Same with like the Tragically Hip in Canada, a great Canadian band, and they have a sound when they all play together. It's different when they're alone. There's just something that happens. Great bands are like that.
How important is it to tour today?
Well, today it's how you make a living. It's gone back to that. You can't just be a record maker anymore. Well, I guess if you do a certain craft, you can. So live is important because that's how you make a living. And really, that's the seed of anything great. The great thing about Michael Bublé, for instance, is all the work he put in before he became the star he is today.
Yes, long way from Babalu.
Exactly, but the Babalu made the guy, all that experience made Michael as good as he is.
Okay, so from Babalu to selling out O2 in London.
10 times.
10 times or something like that.
Yeah, and when you see Michael, you get that. You get that this is the real deal.
Have you seen fame destroy?
I don't think fame destroys it. I think that the people destroy it. Like they destroy themselves, whether they buy into that. It's all about balances, at least for me. The people that find the right balance between family and life and the music business are the ones that maybe stay there the longest, right?
Sure, the ones that buy the horses and have the
Not just that. Just
little farm in Maui.
Yeah. I mean, it is entertainment and it is art. There's a part to living art, but I think you do need a balance.
Take me into your plantation studio.
Okay.
Lots of gear, I'm sure.
I kind of had to bring it because there's not a lot in Maui. It's a very small island, so I brought everything with me, which maybe wasn't a good idea, but it's great. It's a great environment to record in. You look out the control room and you see whales breaching in the ocean. There's that aspect of it. But really, it's been a great place because there's not much else to do other than go to the beach or make music. So it's a great place.
A band arrives, they can pick up any instrument in your studio. I hear you have a ukulele.
I do. I have many different
do?
sounds, yes. Ukuleles are great.
You like Hawaiian music?
I do. There's various forms. I like the old Hawaiian music, which is now it's a different kind of version of Hawaiian. It's called Jawaiian. It's got a reggae beat. That's different. But I like the old guys. I did some festivals with the band some friends that I play with, and you get these groups of guys that come in that play ook and have the falsettos, and it's amazing.
A long way from Don Ho?
A long way.
Long way from Tiny Bubbles.
Respectfully of, a version of that, but yeah.
So a a music producer, what do you actually do?
I don't know.
For someone who that wasn't
I just
a mean
kinda hang-
question. You know what I mean? Like, so who's, when you're recording an Aerosmith or Metallica, who's there?
Well, they're there, and,
Right.
and I'm there,
And
and
you're there.
and I've got Eric, my engineer, that helps me. I used to do the engineering. Now I need help so I can have a different perspective. So, really, you kind of collectively listen to the songs. You find the home, as I put it, for a song, like with Jan Arden. She has a song. We go, okay, that sounds great, but could it go here? Would it best be over here? A different version of slower, different instrumentation. You go through that process and you find the home for it, and then record it in a great performance.
Who are songwriters you admire? Some songwriters you admire greatly.
Great ones? Well, Bob Dylan, Chris Christopherson, kind of the old guys, and John Lennon. But, I'm a big fan of Gord Downie of The Hip, and Paul Hyde, I think, is a great songwriter.
And Doug Edwards.
Doug Edwards is a.
Thought I'd
Canada,
drop that
Canada
in.
has. It's kind of silly to talk about it because there's so many great songwriters. It's about songs. It's moments. I remember seeing an interview with Dylan talking about his earlier songwriting that supposedly the voice of a generation, and he was saying he just wrote the songs. I get that when he says that. It's just a song. It's a moment. We give it all the value in the way we perceive it, but the seed of it, it's just a song, so it comes and goes.
Well, we know the power of music, and you said it, that a good song will make you happy or break your heart.
Absolutely. Hopefully, both. There's two sides of that.
Sure, and it triggers all our memories, and having a down day, throwing a little country for me, because
Yes.
I grew up in a bench in a bar with my granddad fiddling.
I've been there.
You
Not
have.
with that. I don't know your granddad fiddling, but bench in a bar, I've been there. Yeah.
Well, sure, with the Sons of the Pioneers in my case.
Yeah.
Did you, first album you bought, first record you bought, do you remember?
I know exactly what I bought. I bought the Truth album by Jeff Beck. That's why I went to Hudson's Bay Company and bought it in the record bin. And the second album I bought was Led Zeppelin 1. I had records before, but they were
Right.
bought for me through my sister Susan, who had Beatles and Stones and
Sure.
everything. But
Are
that
you
was-
too young, or did you get to go in the booth with the 45s? You're too young.
I'm a little young for that.
A little young for the singles, the Elvis, the Hound Dog.
Yeah, a little young for that, but still, Hudson's Bay, go buy records.
Okay, yes, true. Does it puzzle you that a little Stratford boy, a Justin Bieber, goes on YouTube and becomes this international star, although tortured? Does it puzzle you that happens?
No,
Someone
not
who
at
knows
all.
this biz? Not at all.
Not at all. There's just a new energy, a new generation of that is really kind of refreshing. I kind of like it. It doesn't scare me at all, even though it means maybe I'm not going to do that. Maybe I'm not going to make records as long as I'd like to. But I think it's good to hand it off to the energy.
Okay, hand it off to the energy.
Yeah.
Good line. Canadian Hall of Famer you are.
Lucky, yeah, I can't believe that.
Grammy Award winner you are.
Yeah.
If I could wave a magic wand and make you a rock star, onstage rock star, would you like to be still?
I don't know. To be quite honest, I've done more than I ever thought I would. So I'm very happy with where I am. Very, very happy. I'd just like to do it for a little while longer. I really love my life in music.
I can tell. I thank you.
Fanny. Great meeting you.
Great meeting you.
Great talking to you.
Bob Rock.